Welcome. This session we are going to discuss about design driven innovation and open innovation. We are in innovation and entrepreneurship week. So, design driven innovation. Design driven innovation is we have kind of discussed about design and we have discussed innovation, how these two actually are connected. What is design driven innovation? Design driven innovation actually is kind of innovation of meaning. Meaning you have a product or you want to develop a product that has many features, that physical features, but you can actually give it some meaning with which customers will have a different kind of experience. They will experience a different feeling and that will give them so much of wow that they will fall in love with your product. And your capability to give this meaning to your product or service will make or break your product, will define success of your venture. If you can really inbuild some meaning into your offering and that customers kind of love, then without much additional cost actually will be able to capture increasing number of customers, acquire increasing number of customers and retain them, because this meaning and experience are so kind of deep and impactful that customers normally do not want to dissociate with this. Rather, they start discussing about it with their friends and they become evangelist for your company. They bring customer to your company. They help you connect more customer. Technological innovations are important, okay, but then innovation of meaning is difficult, but then this is what is necessary. Innovation of meaning is a thing that cannot be copied by others. It is difficult to emulate. Recent evidence is testimony that companies who are successful in packaging meaning in their offering, they could maintain competitive advantage for a long time. We discussed about vertical and linear path, that is linear thinking. Linear path of product development is a straightforward path, is traditional path. But then the alternate path of innovation aims to discover not how things work. Alternate means this design thinking part. It is not really how things function, but it gives customers something meaningful, something they love. They may not even know that they want something. So, you give a meaning, once they receive that, customer thinks, wow, I was actually looking forward to this, meaning I love this, but I did not know. There are many products like that, like say when iPod first came, people did not know that we can actually download music on the go and we can have iPhone some earphone or head on the go, you can download music and listen. But the moment they got it, means they did not realize that this is possible. So, it was not in the horizon. The moment they received that, they thought we cannot live without it. Like the BlackBerry at the beginning, when it came up with text information, even Barack Obama said, I cannot live without my BlackBerry. Oprah Winfrey said I cannot live without my BlackBerry. So, before that they did not even know that this is possible, but the moment it is possible. So, these are all, of course, those are functional features, but there are features that you can give. We are going to discuss that only gives the meaning and not lot of value addition in terms of features. And radical innovation of meaning actually can give you permanent or consistent competitive advantage and customers become loyal to your company. Look at this graph. This has been taken from the book called Design Driven Innovation by Roberto Vaganti, and this shows that if you can really build meaning in your product, the product remain relevant for a long time. It in terms of both spread and depth and life, meaning you gain more turnover, meaning more people buy your product, and the product remains relevant for a long time. Look at this, the value of meaning, meaning how meaning actually is sustaining the product for a long time, and how value of function, meaning how quickly value of functionality is reducing. Look at this Yankee candle. Candle actually died a natural death after the advent of electrical lighting, but then Yankee came up with a candle where they added some perfume or aroma into the candle. You light the candle after a hard day's work, you come back home, in your drawing room, you light the candle and some your preferred aroma, you get this candle of various aroma. So, you light the candle that you prefer, the aroma that you prefer, sit in your sofa and close your eyes, perhaps you feel so relieved. That is the experience that you are giving with this candle. Both aroma was there in the world, candle was there in the world, candle was almost like a dead product. By combining these two, Yankee is selling candles for several years, and look at the price of a candle, 20,000 rupees they are selling in India, a candle, and all that has gone in is new meaning and new experience that the customers are getting. That precisely explains how you can identify opportunity in the form of giving new meaning to an existing product or a new product. Another example, an Italian company came up with a design. This tea kettle was always there for a long time, since time antiquity, but this company Alessi, they came, Alessi is not the name of the company, Alessi is the kettle, Alessi bought kettle, perhaps Alessi is the name of the company also. So, some designer came up with an idea that when this kettle or when the content of the kettle start boiling, steam will come out, there is a bird at the end of the nozzle, it starts singing, some whistle comes out. It may look very naive that okay, there is a kind of a alert or alarm that is fit on it for you to know that okay, my tea is ready. But this a small thing actually gave so much meaning to the holder or the owner of this kettle, that this became a flagship product of the company, and they sold millions of this kettle and made millions of or maybe billions of dollars of money. It is a new meaning. The moment this kettle arrived in the marketplace, people started talking about it. Most of the people thought this is status symbol, and most of the people thought that if I do not have this kettle, I am losing something. So, people want to talk, most of the people want to talk about a product. So, you give people something that serve a purpose, but that is only half the thing done. You give some meaning to it, so that people not just use that, but people start talking about it. So, a word of mouth is spread all across the society, and people rush to buy them, rush to own them, so that whenever somebody is speaking to them, he or she can say, yes, I also have it, means I am also sharing that experience. So, nobody wants to left behind, provided it is meaningful and it actually excites people emotion. So, this is what is radical innovation of meaning, and that gives you huge brand equity. Just because the meaning, now your name becomes a brand and people become loyal with that brand. With the same name, you introduce another product, perhaps people will buy, because people will think, okay, so this Alessi kettle, a Bart kettle, it is from the Bart kettle family, so this must be good. So, you are in a better competitive position just by innovation of meaning, giving customers new experience. Graphically represented, x axis is the meaning, that is radical innovation of meaning or whatever you are giving meaning to the product. Y axis is the technological innovation, meaning innovation. So, you go upward on the technology innovation axis meaning you are radically innovating, you go x axis to the right, you are making radical innovation of meaning. Where these two coincides is the domain of excellence. Here if you have a product which has radical technological innovative component as well as radical innovation of meaning, your product will definitely become a winning product. So, you have to target, you have to find, you are doing a lot of research on technology and you have access to latest technology. Now, you try to give a new meaning to your technology and you are going to have a winning business proposition. How to do this? How to get the meaning? 3 stages. One is listening. You gain access to new knowledge through listening. Listen to whom? Listen to everybody. There is a saying that when Boeing design a new aeroplane, they form a team of people of all walks of life, a musician, a writer, an artist, everybody. Why so? Doctors. Why so? Because everybody can bring some perspective which will be so very essential moving forward. Developing and making an aeroplane is a huge thing. Like Boeing plane met with accidents now, you can imagine how billions of dollars has gone down the drain, and this actually could have been possible to identify if you have people of all walks of life. Like suppose you have a musician, he will have kind of a great idea about interior and how the sound is going to reflect, how the sound quality or how noise is going can be tackled. Similarly, whatever you are doing, you have to talk to people of all walks of life, all experts. So, do not think that I am developing this, so I should invite this kind of people. Remain open. Then there are interpreters. Interpreters belongs to other domain. These people are actually interpreters. They will tell you what to do, what not to do. You have to really pick and choose what to accept, what not to accept. So, there are interpreters. You have to combine this all knowledge together and interpret. Interpreter, you should interpret, but interpreter will come up with different context. Then addressing the proposal via interpreters who prepare a people and context combination. The people for whom you are making the solution, and they will give a context, so you can connect that and build wonderful product. So, try giving new meaning. So, customer, one thing is very important, that customer will not normally know that they are looking for this kind of a meaning. You have to invent that. The moment you give them, they will realize that yes, they were actually looking for it, but then you ask them beforehand, they will not be able to say. So, that is again important. You cannot do it through customer engagement or through people centric initiative like design thinking, and only then you get sustainable competitive advantage. This is another example and wonderful example. You all know about computer games, and you all also know that it is kind of a sedentary game. Like you remain hooked onto the monitor or your siblings or somebody, and then it is not healthy. It is kind of a sedentary thing. So, Nintendo, the main players in the marketplace was Microsoft, was Sony. So, if you think of coming out with another product, what would come to your mind? Normally, people will think that the game should be more powerful, it should be faster, and it should be more responsive, so that the moment you press a button, immediately the gun should fire, something like that. Whereas, Nintendo thought differently. They came up with Wii, almost like a cricket bat or something, that uses the technology on gesture based control. You can make a gesture, and through remote connectivity you can actually control a device. Like you can control an air conditioner just by putting your hand like that. There will be a device on your finger, that device actually is giving a gesture. Through gesture based control, many things is possible. So, Nintendo used this technology, they did not invent the technology, and then they converted or transformed the game into a game that can be played jointly by many people standing far away from the monitor. So, you can actually play cricket on the monitor. So, the ball will come, you have a kind of a virtual reality mirror or gadget on your eye. So, you will be seeing that ball is coming, then do your hand like that with a bat, it will simulate a real cricket ground, and as if you are really playing cricket, and your friend may be there, he will catch the ball through using another maybe virtual reality goggles or something. Eventually what happened is children started playing with their parents or even grandparents, parents, and everybody were set in activity, real activity, physical activity. So, you don't have to go out for a jogging, you can just play with your children, and both children gets exercise, you get exercise. So, computer games from being sedentary have become a game of extreme activity. So, in the process Nintendo actually could enlarge the marketplace. They did not target just the traditional gamers, but they targeted everybody. So, marketplace, the whole segment kind of inflated into the whole population. So, everything means that is how Nintendo became $1 billion company in no time. Next in line is open innovation. Very quickly saying, open innovation had been there since time antiquity. Open innovation is nothing but you take inspiration from outside, you inspire outsiders as well. So, when you are looking for something, you need to invite some people and share their knowledge, and when you find that somebody needs kind of knowledge that you have, so you give your knowledge. So, this has always been there. Henry's Chesebro actually put everything systematically in one place, so that it attracted people's focus and attention, and people started formally applying that. Before that, like air, we just breathe and we do not realize the value of it. Open innovation also was there in the domain, and people did not care about it. But the moment he wrote a book, and it became kind of highly visible, and people started applying. Before that also people applied. What he says in the book? It is use of purposive inflow and outflow, inflow and outflow. So, knowledge is coming in, knowledge is going out. Inflow of knowledge to accelerate internal innovation, meaning your own innovation, and expand the market for external use of innovation, meaning you use your innovation for others and whole marketplace improves. It has two connotations. One is by not keeping the knowledge within you, like IBM hold lot of knowledge. For decades IBM filed patents and kept it in the shelf. So is Xerox. They invented many things, kept it in the shelf. What happened in the process is the world did not have access to this knowledge that are available. So, people of IBM also were deprived of the things that would have been possible if outside world would have applied this knowledge. Like Xerox, they invented the mouse, they invented the user interface, they invented many more things and kept it there, thinking that this knowledge is of no use. They invented the mouse also. So, without this knowledge we would have been somewhere else, but now we are at a much advanced stage. That is one perspective, that your knowledge can do a lot of good to the society. You being part of the society, you also get benefited. The other part is that you can license this knowledge and earn hefty revenue, profit. The boundaries of companies adopting open innovation is permeable, meaning that knowledge should sift through that, knowledge should pass through that, both inside as well as outside. Again, what Henry Chesebro said, open innovation is a paradigm that assumes that firms can and should use external ideas as well as internal ideas, meaning you have your own R&D people, they are inventing, you should also invite external knowledge to supplement them. And internal and external paths to market. You have a set path, a linear path, but you take external knowledge, change the path, and you come up with advanced technology. Developing technology in isolation without really taking knowledge from outside is a tedious, lengthy process and full of risk. You are already aware that you start with an idea, develop prototype, get it validated, takes a lot of time, and chance is 1 in 3000 that you will eventually come up with a product. And then out of this product, chance is 1 in 10 perhaps that this product will be successful. So, if you want to make all these efforts by yourselves, you are going to put so much of resources, so much of time, effort, money down the toilet. So, rather than doing that, you try to gather bits and pieces of knowledge from outside rather than doing whole thing by yourselves and move faster, either then pivot or move forward. This is very, very important. You should not try to do something in isolation. So, again saying the same thing, that you embrace external ideas and knowledge in conjunction with internal. Firm that can harness outside ideas to advance their own business while leveraging their internal ideas outside their current operation will likely thrive in the new era of open innovation. Others will die natural death. Xerox is an example that unless somebody talks about it, open innovation discussion is incomplete. Xerox discarded many of their innovation, terming them as commercially irrelevant. Many startups took those technologies, refined them to suit customer requirements, and have become successful entrepreneurs. Particularly those who have invented the technology under a project, and Xerox told them this is good for nothing, discard that project, engage in something else. Those people were demoralized because they invented, they knew that this is something meaningful, useful, and this is something valuable. What they did is they quit the job and took that technology, started company. The combined market value of these companies, about 30 of them, are many times more than Xerox. So, that shows the opportunity that Xerox actually lost by remaining in a closed context or domain, meaning that they were not sharing their knowledge with the outside world, neither they were bringing knowledge from outside to the inside. Now, this is kind of a drawing, it is not so wonderful, but it shows that there is a funnel of product development. You start with large number of ideas, eventually one goes to the market, eventually 1 out of 10 will become successful. In the bottom part, we are showing that you can actually send some of the ideas outside and that becomes successful, or you bring some ideas and combine that with your ideas, and then perhaps you gain success faster compared to that. Look at the companies that emerged out of Xerox. It means the technology is fast, graphical interface, bitmap screen, Ethernet networking protocol, font rendering program, PostScript, web searching, indexing technologies, online conferencing technologies. You go on, and the list is endless. Apple, Adobe, Microsoft, these are the companies who benefited. Apple would not have been Apple today without the technologies that Steve Jobs acquired from Xerox. So, that clearly shows that you do not have to struggle to develop a product sitting in an enclosure which is isolated from the world. You have to see, look around and collect or gather bits and pieces of small technology, join them together, and then come up with a successful product very quickly. So, you can actually accelerate this development process, you can reduce cost, reduce resources requirement, reduce skill gaps, obviously help to beat competition, it reduces risk because it reduces time. Even in public sector, open innovation is happening. A new research program aims to capitalize CSIR IMTech. IMTech is an initiative by CSIR. is a world class expertise in microbial technology and the product development capabilities of Johnson and Johnson pharma company in US. So, they together formed a kind of a collaboration for faster drug development. I have the link here in, I think it is Times of India. So, you can see the article there. I will try to quickly finish. Now, these are some pieces of information you should know. One is X Prize, another is Heroics, another is Innocentive. Unless you are familiar, Innocentive offers you to come up with ideas, means they know the problem that people faces, and then they will throw the problem in the open domain, means to the global community. If you can come up with a solution, they will pay you hefty money. It is known how much money they will pay. It was initiated by Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly started throwing ideas, particularly problems, to the open public domain, inviting solutions in exchange for money. They used to reward people, and then they realized that this open sourcing or outsourcing, crowdsourcing hold enormous amount of promise, because people are actually knowledgeable, people have capabilities that people are hiding, because they do not have access to a place where they can show their capabilities. And this is in line with whatever we have started saying, that we are capable, we do not know. When somebody is giving us a problem, then we start thinking and we start giving solutions. We become an expert even before our own eyes, that yes, I can do. But if you do not do, you will not realize. So, Eli Lilly started Innocentive based on the confidence that people are capable. Crowdsourcing is a possibility of technology development. So is X Prize. They have announced $10 million for moon landing on moon. It was unsuccessful, meaning there was nobody actually could succeed in sending a probe on the moon, individual I mean. Similarly, X Prize started Heroics, where they throw problems given by various parties asking for solutions. In the gaming domain, there is beta invitation, meaning that they will develop a game and they will throw that to the public. Now, your job is to find exploits or troubles, and you troubleshoot and give the solution back to them. They are going to reward you. It is a very quick process of developing product. The same thing, if you want to do it in house, you may take years, whereas you throw it to the public domain, there will be crazy people, crazy in the sense that they have enormous talent, and they will look at the problem and immediately come up with a solution. So, in a couple of days you get a solution. So, that is wonderful. But then open innovation, you are exposed to your IP being visible to some people, then there may be conflict of interest, conflict between you and your collaborator. There are many problems you can read. Let me move faster. Procter Gamble, they have used this very successfully. 30%, 35% of their innovations worth billions of dollars are through open innovation. They are connected to they have 2000 MOUs signed with various companies for partnering in their innovative process. I will very quickly introduce the intellectual property right. Intellectual property rights are of different kinds, like patent that protect technologies, design that patents forms, trademarks that patent unique symbol or text like a brand symbol or a company name. Copyright protects artistic creation of mind, that may be a book or writing poems, or maybe software, maybe an artistic or art, any kind of art form, music, lectures, anything. Geographical indications are related to particular natural resources available at a particular location or particular art form in a location. Anything, any intellectual creation of mind that is referring to particular, like say basmati rice, then the knowledge of turmeric, etc. Semiconductor integrated circuit layout design also can be protected. software cannot be, means a patent cannot be filed for software, but you can file a patent provided the software is embedded in a kind of a chip or something. Patent is given based on novelty, that means uniqueness, that means nobody has come up with this kind of a feature that you have come up. Then non-obviousness, if any novelty is so very obvious that suppose you are cutting a pencil with a sharpener, now somebody else come up with another sharpener, it does exactly same job almost in the same manner, and if it is thought that anybody sufficiently knowledgeable in the domain, sufficiently skilled, would naturally make it without any hindrance, without requiring any intellectual deeper knowledge, then you will not get a patent. Then industrial use, meaning that anything that you have developed must have some commercial value, some commercial relevance, meaning that somebody needs this solution, otherwise you will not get a patent. Patent is protected only for 20 years. After 20 years, you do not have the right, it will be open in the public domain to use. Very importantly, patent is valid only in the country where you have filed a patent. Suppose you have filed a patent in India, initially you can file initial filing will be valid for 1 year, as long as it is not granted. Say you file in India and you do not file another patent, suppose in China, within 365 days. You can file a provisional provisional specification, I am coming to that later. Suppose you do not file a patent in China, after 365 days, anybody in China can copy your technology because it is not protected in China. You have to file a patent application in all the countries in the world wherever you want to protect your technology within 365 days of filing in India. If you are not, if you fail to do that, your technology can be copied by them with your full knowledge, there is no remedy to that. It is not a violation, infringement on your right. There is a window to alleviate this, overcome this. That is, there is an organization called World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO. They have a scheme called PCT, Patent Cooperation Treaty. If you file an application under Patent Cooperation Treaty, after filing patent in your own country or in any country, the day when you file for the first time in any country called priority date. So, from priority date, within 365 days, if you file a PCT application in Geneva with WIPO, your patent, your right on the technology will remain valid for 30 months in all the countries who are signatory to this PCT, means this Patent Cooperation Treaty, PCT treaty actually, Patent Cooperation Treaty. There are about 180 plus countries out of 205 or 10 countries in the world. So, out of 200 countries in the world, 180 is a signatory. So, if you file a PCT, and your patent will be protected without doing anything else in 180 countries for 30 months. This 30 months window is given to you to decide in which all countries you want your technology to be protected, so that you get a time to talk to some companies in those countries who can help you to protect or file a patent in those countries. Otherwise, it is not protected anywhere else. Suppose you can identify a technology in China or in US or in Korea or Japan, which is not protected in India. You can actually copy that and manufacture something in India and start an entrepreneurial venture and gain success. Anything and everything that is available to you, because you can download a patent from Google Patent or many other patent portal, and you can actually copy this patent without any fear of infringing. Design is valid for 10 years and it is just an aesthetic design. It protects the shape, the pattern, the composition, the configuration, the color mix, etc. And it is valid for 10 years and then it can be renewed for 5 years. Trademark is automatically protected even if you do not file a, do not register, but registering is always better. It is protected perpetually, meaning once you register, it will remain protected for the life of it. Copyright, as I already explained, it is valid for 60 years from the date of death of the creator. Suppose I write a book and I die after 10 years. So, from that date, the copyright on the book will remain with me for another 60 years, and whosoever is the inheritor of my belongings inherits the copyrights. I talked about PCT and WIPO. Some last word, you can pause and see some good references, you can visit and see, and few words in conclusion. Thank you very much.